Hello and welcome back to another mid-season, off-season, quarantine edition, social movement version of Hockey Talkie. My name is Clay. Thank you for tuning in. The NHL announced today some more details regarding the 24-team playoff structure tournament thing that is hopefully going to award the Stanley Cup. That's going to be happening hopefully 2 months from now. We knew some details prior to today. We knew that it would feature 24 teams. We knew that the top 4 seeds would be getting a bye and playing each other in a round-robin format to determine how those 4 seeds would be handed out. And we knew that the bottom 8 seeds, or teams in each conference, would be playing each other in a best-of-5 play-in round to determine who moves on to play those top 4 seeds and teams in what would be the actual playoffs, the normal 16-team bracket that we're used to from the NHL. So we knew those details. Every other detail was kind of up in the air, at least until now. We've had some ideas about what those details would actually be, but they were still kind of just up in the air. They weren't set in stone. But now, today, we know more. So we now know that in addition to the play-in round being a best-of-5, all the other rounds are going to be best-of-7s. We weren't quite sure if that first round after the play-in round would also be a best-of-5. That was kind of up in the air originally, but now we know for sure that it's not going to be. It's actually going to be a best-of-7. So how it's going to work is the play-in round will be a best-of-5. The first round will be best-of-7. The second round, best-of-7. Conference finals, best-of-7. And Stanley Cup final, best-of-7. So once you get past that play-in round, it's going to act similar to the playoff structure of pretty much every other year. So nothing changes in that regard. It's still going to take 16 wins after you get past the play-in round. 16 wins to win the Stanley Cup. So that's nice to know that it's going to be pretty much full playoff structure there. Nothing getting cut down. You can't say no to more playoff hockey. It's the best thing around, most exciting for sure. Now this year it might be a little bit weird. It's going to be interesting to see how the environment is, but I gotta imagine it's still going to be quite exciting. With that said, there is a little bit of a twist. This year the NHL is introducing reseeding into its playoff bracket. What does that mean and how is it different than previous years? Well, previous years, the NHL bracket or playoffs worked very similar to the NCAA basketball tournaments, where it's just a standard bracket and it just whittles down just exactly how you expect. There was no surprises. You knew which team would be playing which team and which team would possibly be playing which team in which exact round. You knew that if the top 2 seeds in each section would win all their games, they would meet in the Elite 8. You knew that for a fact. Like, that's where they would meet. They wouldn't meet any later or any sooner than that. It was very standard to figure out, and that's why kind of filling out brackets was really easy for people to do, and it got very popular. And that's what we've done in the NHL for pretty much ever. The difference now is that there's reseeding. So there's a little bit of change in how future rounds work or what the matchups would be. It's much similar now to the NFL's playoff structure where in the NFL, the top 2 seeds get a bye. Who they play in the second round is completely dependent on who wins in that first round. They're not guaranteed to be playing the winner of a certain matchup. It depends on the winners of all the matchups because the top seed will be playing the worst remaining seed. So that's how it's now going to work this year. Now, a lot of people like it. I'm not against it. However, I think this year the benefit of it is a little lost because of the fact that the top 4 seeds are going to be determined by a 3-game round robin between the top 4 teams. So you have a team like Boston who let's say if we had played 3 more regular season games, they could have lost all 3 games and they would still be the first seed in the Eastern Conference. However, with this round robin, if they lose all 3 games in the round robin, they could drop all the way down to the 4th seed. And so now reseeding doesn't really help them at all. Like, they now have to face the best team that's remaining from the bottom 8 teams. So if a team comes out of the gates rusty in the round robin, even if they played well in the regular season, things can change. You know, they're not necessarily going to come out firing on all cylinders. Goalies are going to steal games in these round robins, these early series here. If a team comes out just not, all that great, and they struggle and drop all the way to like the 4th seed, and they're going to have a lot tougher of a road to the Stanley Cup. If this was happening in a normal playoff, year or NHL year, it would be a little different because there isn't this kind of randomness for the top 4 seeds. Hopefully that makes sense. So I'm fine with the reseeding, but it's not really all that necessary this year. But that's how it's going to be, so we're going to have to live with it. It'll be interesting. It'll be harder to fill out brackets this year because we won't really know until, the actual games are played, who's going to have those seeds and how it's all going to kind of whittle down. So that's going to be unfortunate, but yeah, it'll be interesting at least. So those are the details we now know are confirmed. There are still some big details left to hammer out, like when do training camps start, when do the games start, and even before then, what 2 cities are going to be the hub cities for this entire pandemic playoff thing. A lot left to do, a lot left to figure out from the NHL and the NHLPA, but we're taking steps closer to finally getting hockey back this year. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and got some knowledge from it. If you didn't, or even if you did, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate that as always. But most importantly, stay safe, make good decisions, and I'll see you next time.